Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. We're getting ready to make some potato soup. I really like it in the wintertime. We don't hardly ever fix it in the summer, but in the wintertime we do. And it's very, very easy and very economical to fix. So I have got my potatoes already boiled. It took about 20 minutes. And I did want to show you this little pot. Let me turn it around because I'm going to put a link for this on my website. Now, it won't be on YouTube, but it'll be on the website. Now, this little pot, my husband ordered it for me because he thought it was a great big pot. He was just looking at the picture, so he went ahead and ordered it. And because I was looking for a pot to blanch vegetables in. And what this actually is an asparagus cooker, okay? And you put them in and of course put the lid on it and you can boil them. But he was going to send it back and I said, oh no, wait, let me see what I can use that for. And it just works perfectly for these little small potatoes. See? You just take them out and they're all done. And what I do is take them over and just run a little bit of cold water on them and I'm going to take the peeling off of them. This soup is going to have milk, a little bit of flour and butter, and I did use the instant non-fat dry milk because I ran out of milk. But it really is actually better if you use the non-fat dry milk. So after I get these potatoes peeled, we'll be back and I'll show you how to finish up this soup. Alrighty, I've got my potatoes all peeled. Now this is about 12 small red potatoes, and these are those little gourmet potatoes. Now remember, I buy them at the farmer's market, so I get a 50-pound bag and I pay very little for them. So, but the small red potatoes is what will work. Now I want to show you this pot one more time because it works. I counted, I had 13 little potatoes. Put them all right in here. Put the lid on, turn your burner on, in 20 minutes they're done. This is one nifty little pot. So I'll give you a link to that, but it will be on the website. All right, the first thing you want to do with the potato soup is to put about 3 tablespoons of butter in a fairly large pot. And I went ahead and turned my burner on high to get it heated up. And the next ingredient will be 3 tablespoons of flour. And I'm just using regular, just self-rising flour. It really doesn't matter. Now if you do self-rising flour, when you start putting the salt in later, you just won't use as much salt. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put that in. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now, on this flour and butter mixture, you're really making a white sauce. And again, I've got 3 cups of milk, and this is non-fat dry milk because I ran out of milk. I think I might have a little bit left in the refrigerator, but not enough to make this. This is what I use. Now, for some reason that probably I don't understand, if you use the non-fat dry milk, the soup tastes exactly the next day as it did the day you fixed it. And why that's true, I don't know, but it is. So I tend to use the non-fat dry milk in cooking things that use a white sauce. All right, now we're just going to let our flour and butter mixture get kind of bubbly. While that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of my potatoes in my blender, and I'm going to hold out about 3 of them, and I'm going to cut those up in little cubes. All right, there's my blender. So actually, I think I'll keep out 4 of the little potatoes. Now I'm going to pour in at least a cup, maybe a little more of my milk. fact, about half of it. Half of it would work. All right, now my flour and butter mixture is getting a little bubbly. You just want to stir that around. You don't want it to brown or anything. You just want it to get bubbly. All right, now we're ready to turn that blender on and get these potatoes smooth. And stir that around just a little bit. I'm going to finish blending that in just a minute. I'll show you how to do that. All right, my flour and butter mixture have gotten really bubbly. I'm going to turn that burner down just a little bit. Again, you don't want this to really brown, but you do want it to kind of cook. Now I'm going to get another cup of water to go in the blender. I'm going to blend these potatoes up just a little more. All right, one more cup. Now my flour is ready, and I'm going to go ahead and dump the rest of my milk in this flour and butter mixture. And again, this was non-fat, dry powdered milk. And you want to just stir it along and let it just barely come to a boil. Okay, my potatoes now in the blender are really creamy. I want to get this mixture here to just thicken up just a little bit. And I'm probably going to add my last little bit of whole milk, which will probably be about another 3/4 of a cup. Now I'm also going to cut up these little potatoes into little squares. Just cut them up into little squares. Turn this down so you can see. There we go. Just cut them in little cubes. Now red potatoes will hold their shape and not get all crumbled apart like a lot of the white potatoes will. And I also think they taste better, particularly for potato soup. Okay, got our potatoes all cut up. And my little white sauce is just barely beginning to bubble. Now I'm going to add the remainder of my whole milk to that. And again, this is the last of my milk, so that's about 3/4 of a cup. Put it right in there. So that's the end of the milk. And I'm going to put it back on the burner. Just keep stirring it. Again, you don't really want it to come to an actual boil. Now, any lumps, I'm going to take care of that with a whisk, okay? Put it up there. So I'm just going to whisk this around. Again, I've got my burner on medium now. In the background there, you see I made 2 loaves of French bread this morning. And we're going to have that with this soup along with a little salad, okay? So, and I hope you can hear me okay. I don't have an external mic for my camera, so, and sometimes I forget to talk loud enough. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Again, you want to bring this up to just barely, where it just barely starts boiling. It's just a little bit of little bubbles on the side of it. And what I'm going to do now is add my potato mixture that I had in the blender. That's like really thin cream potatoes is what it's like. Now at this point, if you used all-purpose flour to thicken your sauce, you would need to add some salt. And I know I'm going to need just a little bit of salt, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. You might need more if you used all-purpose flour. You see, this is pretty thick, okay? And if you wanted yours a little thinner, you at this point you could add a little more water. See how smooth it is? It's a really, really hearty soup. All right, when this comes up to almost a boil, we'll be back. All right, my soup is almost ready to start boiling now. And you don't want it to boil. You want it to just come up to boiling. And you need to use a straight edge spatula because this has got a lot of milk in it and you don't want it to stick to the bottom. All right, now I'm ready to add my little potato cubes. I'm going to stir those in. Now, this would also be the time to taste of it and see if you need to add any salt. Again, just stir it, so it doesn't stick to the bottom. This is a very, very hearty soup, and if you feed it to your children, I promise you it will put them to sleep for the afternoon. So, a good winter soup for a cool winter day. All right, I'm going to plate this up, and I'm going to have to get my bread sliced up over here, and I'll put everything on the plate, and we'll be back. Okay, here you have it. Potato soup with a little bit of spinach salad. Now, this is mine. This is my husband's, and I want to show you what he likes in his. First of all, some shredded cheddar cheese. In fact, he likes a whole bunch. All right. And next, he wants some country sausage. Now, sometimes if I've got bacon cooked, he wants bacon on it. But today I don't have any bacon, so we'll use sausage. And the last thing, some green onion tops. There's mine. There's his. Quite a bit of difference, huh? Anyway, we're ready to eat, so I hope you'll try this and I hope you really enjoy it. See you next time.